My name is Michelle Taylor Willis. I'm on the board of directors for the Greater South Fulton Chamber of Commerce. I'm the VP of Film and Entertainment. And I do want to give a quick shout out. She's not going to say hi now, she will later, but to Sheila Mance, who is the chair of the Film and Entertainment Committee, and a special thank you to the committee members that have jumped on today. So everybody just real quick, just clap virtually so we can just give the committee a shout out. I'm a little biased, but I really feel like we've got the best committee on the board, but that's just me. That's just kind of what I feel, what's in my spirit right now. All right, so we have a really great panel design today, but before we jump into it, speaking of the Greater South Fulton Chamber, I do want to introduce and allow her to say a few words. Our fearless leader, Diane Matthews, the president and CEO of the Greater South Fulton Chamber of Commerce. Hey, Diane.
Hi there, Michelle. Hello, everyone. Good morning, or great morning, I should say. Welcome to everyone that is here today, our panelists, our attendees, our committee members. On behalf of the Chamber, we just want to say welcome, welcome, and you are going to love this session today. Absolutely. All of our seminars, virtual seminars, and our film summit have just been full of information that people tell me they have never gotten anywhere else. And look at it, it's all complimentary, yet we have the best of the best here to share this info with you today. So we just want to say, sit back, enjoy. Please give a shout out or a hand clap to our committee who has worked so hard under the auspices of our wonderful chair, Ms. Sheila Mance, who is always staying behind the scenes, and Michelle Taylor Willis, our VP of Film and Entertainment. And as president of the chamber, I can say, Michelle, for sure, this committee, so far, as of today, is it. You get the gold star. What can I say?
Right.
So
Let
thank
them
you.
know, Diane. Let them know.
All right, I'm letting you know. Okay, they've got it. So we're going to sit back and enjoy. Thanks so much for being here, everyone. Michelle, back to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Diane. And I do want to say again, thanks, because the beautiful thing about the chamber and being a business owner and being in the chamber, but working with Diane, is that she does allow us to take some liberties and to try new things to make sure that we're getting in front of the businesses that can really benefit from different industries and different offerings that the chamber has to offer. So, and this is one. This came out of an idea during COVID. We talked about doing these film and entertainment panels, and we were about to have one live, our first one, and then COVID hit and shut everything down. And we were like, look, let's just try it virtually. And Diane was like, hey, what do we have to lose? Let's rock with it. And
Sure.
they were so successful that we started doing them every 3 months. And it turned now into 2 years later. Last year, we had our first live film and entertainment summit, which was a half-day summit at the Academy Theater in Hapeville, Georgia, just south of Atlanta. And we had top actors and directors and producers and everybody. I mean, and it was packed. If we were selling tickets, which it was free, but if we were selling tickets, we would have been sold out.
Oh, yes.
It was amazing, but that's all because Diane kind of lets us do our thing. And so thank you. We appreciate that. And I'm sure everybody within the different industries appreciate that. So hand clap for Diane.
Ah, thank you.
You're
Back
welcome.
to
Okay.
you.
All right, so if you are here today, either virtual, well, I guess everybody's virtually, but if you're watching live on Facebook, you're here, you are in for a treat because we really have assembled. This committee has done a great job of bringing in some of the best talent. And so if you're an actor or if you're an aspiring actor, you're trying to figure out, what you need to do to make sure that you book that role, you got three of the best people right here. And the beautiful thing I love about all of them is that they are approachable and transparent and accessible. They want to see you do well, and that's why they are here. So I am going to start by introducing, and this is in no order, just because this is how the pages are arranged to my left. Our first panelist is John Chafin. John is an actor, a writer. He has done some producing as well. And he got his start in theater, which I love because all the greats come from theater. Isn't that?
Man,
And so he got his start in theater. He was in a major lead in roles, and then he basically worked his way on screen. But I'd have to say, reading his bio, that one of the reasons he was able to get on screen is because he was a thespian at heart, and he was trained to really be an actor and not to just be somebody who pretends or who is adopting a character, so to speak. You've seen him on BMF. He is on the upcoming season of P Valley. Right now, he's on Diarra from Detroit. His acting credits go on and on and on. And something tells me he's probably just getting started. The other piece that we probably should know about John is that he's a community advocate and he's a family guy. It all starts from him for him at home, whether it's at his own home or his home in the community. He is here for us. He wants to make us all better. But in that, he's getting better himself. And so I think that this is somebody we definitely should have on our radar, and we are happy to have you here, John. Welcome.
thank you. Thank you.
All right. All right, next up, we've got John Lacey. And I just have to tell this quick story about John. I met John by chance. I'm an actor, so to speak. And John was actually a guest coach at our acting class a couple of years ago. And he was just there because his very good friend has acting class every week. I happened to be there. And instantly, it was like John Lacey took over the room. He took over the class. And he just literally just started giving us so much amazing information as actors. I mean, we got so much from that class. I got so much from that class that I stayed connected with him and learned more about him and followed him and researched him and all these things. And 2 years later, I can pick up the phone and call the guy who has a film out right now that's winning film festivals. But because he's transparent, he is so accessible and honest and open, and he really wants all actors to have the access to be the best that they can be. And that's why he's here. Listen, he's been a working actor in Hollywood for over 35 years. He has over 100 film and TV credits. He is a thespian as well. I love he's got great on stage stories that he has shared with me. And I think he shared a couple in class. And if you research his IMDb, you can see him too. But the really cool thing is that he just finished playing opposite Joaquin Phoenix in the latest Joker film. Did anybody see the latest Joker? I guess you guys are off video, but
Yeah.
he played opposite.
There goes my new house.
He
Sorry.
played opposite Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, how many people can you say that? And Lady Gaga. So he's now a filmmaker. Like I mentioned, his new film is circulating the film festival circuit right now. Everyone Asked About You is the name of it. Just won the grand prize for best feature film at the Golden State Film Festival. He's directed three features. And Everybody Asked About You is actually playing right now beginning March 27th in San Francisco on the big screen. And it's at the Indy Las Vegas Film Festival at the end of April. And he's making his way to Atlanta. I know he is. I want this film in Atlanta. So we're going to figure it out, John. But everybody, John Lacey. Virtual hand clap, yeah. And did Leslie make it on? Okay. Well, if she does, she might just be having some difficulties, but our final panelist is Leslie Green, and she's a casting director, author, consultant, fashion designer, and entrepreneur. She has a very impressive backlog, but Netflix, BET, Lifetime, LMG Originals. She has film showcased at Sundance. She's very impressive, and hopefully we'll get her on because as a casting director, you know, we certainly want to hear what she has to say. All right, so that's our panel, and let's dive into it. I'm going to go right into this, guys, and I'm opening this up to the two Johns. But in your opinion, what do you think is the biggest challenge right now for actors as they're trying to book gigs and roles in this current environment?
I'll take that because, go ahead, John.
No, go, please. I'll piggyback off whatever you say.
Yeah, well, obviously, representation is always going to be a hurdle, a gatekeeper to making sure or giving you the best chance to get in front of the casting directors and the showrunners and the people who are putting out the stuff that most people want to be on, the network stuff, the Netflix, Hulu, you name it. So having an agent or a manager that can get you those opportunities will always be very significant. The further you go, especially if you start to move into the guest star range and being considered for series regular, there still is a barrier to entry there. Having said that, there are more ways than ever to gain awareness for yourself and to put yourself on the radar of casting folks and producers. So that's where it is a wild, wild west right now in terms of all the different things available, from obviously social media to YouTube platforms of having your own channel and putting your own consistent product out there for awareness. But breaking through the noise right now is a challenge, and it's always been the challenge. This has always been a competitive business. So to say that these are new obstacles, I think, is unfair to the past, because this has always been an extremely competitive business. People come here from around the world to seek this dream of whether it's stardom, for lack of a better word, or just this being up on the screen, telling stories and moving people and changing lives. People are going to continue to come to this industry, whether it's Atlanta or Los Angeles or Chicago or New Orleans or Argentina. There are places now where you can have a career now. You don't have to be in Los Angeles, but it is a wild, wild west. There are a lot of different ways now to get your talent out there and put it on display. You still should be always looking for representation and seeing what you can do to get representation that can move your needle. So that hasn't changed, but it's about doing the work, being up on stage, creating something that you're putting on your own YouTube channel, but doing the work, doing the homework, knowing who the gatekeepers are that can get you seen and get you potentially hired. Knowledge is empowering. I think a lot of actors don't take advantage of this information era that we're in. There's so much available every day for you to research in terms of who's creating what, who are the casting directors, where are things being filmed, what kind of actors are they looking for, whether that's approaching an agent or a manager and understanding what it is that they might need on their roster, or just what are the shows that you're right for, being specific about your vision. What kind of storytelling do you want to do? What kind of film? What kind of television? And then knowing who those people are that are creating it, and then how do you get to them? That knowledge is available to everybody. Every day, at every moment, you could be doing that type of work. You could also be reading plays and reading short stories. You could be going to museums. There's always things you can be doing to fill up your art vessel so that you can be a full, well-rounded artist, so that when you do meet people that can help you, you have something to say. You're interesting. You have a frame of reference of the filmmakers and the actors and the artists who came before you. You're not flat-footed when you get caught in industry conversations. These are things that actors can do every day instead of waiting for someone else to tap them on the shoulder.
Yeah, that was spot on. I don't know. I'll probably take a different angle as far as like the business aspect. I think one of the challenges is that the business is changing rapidly, which means opportunities are both, and they're plentiful and they're hard to come by. shows used to go for like 22 episodes, you know, now we're getting like 13, 8, limited series. It may take a year or two for a show to come back. And then that audience has kind of moved on and cancellations are happening now. You're lucky if you can get 3 seasons. You know, 2 is great. 3, you know, you might have you something, you know. Actors that were offer only are now reading, you know, actors that are reading for series regulars are now reading for guest star type of show. Actors that was reading for guest star type of show are now reading for co-stars. Actors that were reading for co-stars are just trying to get an audition. So it's a trickle down effect, which makes it harder for people who are just now getting into the business because there's not as many shows and movies that are being produced as it once were. Hopefully the industry will correct itself and you know more things will come. But to piggyback off John says, that means you have to be that much more of a craftsman. You have to be that much more uh, dogmatic about becoming a storyteller and a teller of stories. As my acting coach will always say, you know, in order to be interesting, you have to be interested in the story. So removing yourself and your actor wants and needs, and replacing that with the needs of the character will help you become a better storyteller so that way you are more attractive to the buyers in the industry. Working on your craft, because this is a craft, and I know that we're in a information era and an influence era, and everybody has IG, TikTok, and you can make a video or you can go on Facebook and do a skit and you know these 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and that's great. It's practice, but you also have to know how to be a professional because when you step on a set and you're working with people who this is what they do, it's a different ball game than you know you're recording something on your phone and posting it online for likes or networking gathering. So I would say do that and learn the craft, learn how to break down the story, learn how because that's your talent is how you interpret material. As an actor, your talent is how you interpret material. And the better that you become at interpreting material, the more appealing you will be to those who are the buyers in this industry. So theater is a backbone. Read plays, like John was saying. That's where the best writing is. Theater is a language medium, whereas film and television is a visual medium. It's a filmmaker's medium. So as an actor, your best asset is being able to break down a script, interpret that material, and then to deliver it. And you get that by reading great writing and working on great writers like the Arthur Millers and the August Wilsons and the Henrik Ibsens of the world. So those are like practical things to do to make yourself a better artist, a better storyteller. More of a business side is understanding the waves of this industry, the ebbs and flows of it, so that way you can protect your mental and spiritual health. Because there's a lot of rejection that goes along with what we do. Um, I can read for 20, 30 projects and book 1 or 2 of them, you know. Get tests for a pilot or test for a movie, get down between me and one person, and you know, they choose the other person for whatever reason, or they may choose me for whatever reason. So it's out of our control as actors as to what we are actually how we get hired. So to work on your mental and spiritual health, have a life outside of it. Have a life outside of acting. Like John was saying, go to the theater, go to the museums, go to spend time in nature. You know what I'm saying? Do other things so that way you are not just a actor, you're a multi-hyphenate, you're a Renaissance type of person. Not only do you have something to speak about, but you have something to offer. You know what I'm saying? When you actually are getting a role, you have some life experience that you can bring to it. And then just stay at it. I mean, it's like I said, it's tough. The opportunities are there, but this is a global market. And because of self-tapes, you are not competing with just the people within your market. You're competing with myself in LA,
Mm.
whoever is in New York, Australia. I mean, it's worldwide. So you have to really be a craftsman. And that's the best way I can say is just work on your craft, work on your craft, and find good people to collaborate with and network with.
John, I'm glad. Well, first of all, I feel like I could probably end the forum right now, and people have plenty they could go into.
That was
Um,
fantastic.
and I mean, yeah, between the two of you, I don't have any more questions. No, I'm joking. But I'm glad you said craftsman because I was furiously writing notes as you both were speaking, but the undertone that I see or that I'm hearing from both of you is the classic be a student of the game, right? And kind of be an expert in your field. And how do you do these things? And I love that you guys gave specifics because I know, to your point, I'm going to call you guys by your last name, Chafin and Lacey. That way we can get rid of the John thing. Because to your point, Chafin, like you're competing now against everybody. And it's not, I mean, literally, and against people that maybe may or may not deserve the role in your eyes, right? And so it's really about how do you become the best student? How do you really, if you had to say three top things, how do you become holistically the best student of the game, right? And before you answer that, just to kind of piggyback, I think one of the things too, and I know Lacey, you talk about this a lot, is knowing all the pieces of what it takes to create a TV project or a film project so that when you're on set, you're not just acting, you're aware of everything that's happening that also makes you a best actor. So let me pause there and see. I mean, three things like if you got to nail it down, what are the three things you have to do to be a real student of this game of acting?
Uh,
Okay, go ahead.
read,
Yeah, you start this time, John.
read, become a lover of language. Read plays, read screenplays. I mean, I think reading theater, reading plays is one of the best things that you can do because you learn language, which is our most valuable asset as an actor is our tool set is our body. So that would be one. Find networking opportunities, and I don't mean just showing up at places to kind of schmooze. I mean opportunities to get onto sets. I started off when I first started, I did background work, I did stand-in work because it allowed me to be 5 feet from where I wanted to be, and I got to see firsthand how number one on the call sheet operates and
Mm,
how they conduct themselves on set. So that way, when it was my turn, I knew how to move and how to treat people on set because you don't know who's going to be next.
mm.
And then I would say also, uh, this might sound, kind of basic, but pray. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of prayer. It's a lot of faith that goes into this. I moved to LA in 2012. Um, I've been working full time, as in this is all that I do. I don't have a side job since like 2019. Um,
That's a big deal.
yeah, but there's also that. Oh, here's one more. 3-2 or 3.1 is also learn finance, become a business person.
I
Under,
missed that one. Yeah, I missed that stage.
yeah, I did too.
I,
It took me a while.
I was absent that day.
I was, I fell asleep in that class. I was late and I fell asleep. But I learned because see, one thing is that it's always the next job. So you have to be able to sustain yourself in between. So if you're in class, if you're reading, if you're networking, you also have to know how to maintain and survive. So those would be my main things, would just be like, be a student of the craft, read, not only plays, screenplays, books, um, figure out what you don't know, you know what I'm saying? And sharpen those tools. And network with people that are where you would desire to be, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And people who are also on your same level. Don't always just try to get to the person that's doing, something, but network linearly, you know what I'm saying, with people that's on you, because you don't know where y'all can grow together. I know that's probably more than three, but
Yeah, that was like 10 things, Chafin. I mean, you broke every single
sorry,
rule in the
sorry.
history of paneling, but
We ain't mad. I'm not mad at you. Yeah.
no, that's great.
Yeah. Very good. I wrote several of those down, John. You're exceptional. Very good. Um, I'm gonna give you real quick. So for people taking notes at home, I have 4 pillars of success, and then I'm gonna give you 3 practical things that you can start working on. My 4 pillars of success, and I'm not gonna break them down right now. Um, they all begin with a P because I love alliteration. I come from English teachers. Passion. Without it, you don't stand a chance. Practice. You have to always be in practice. Always, always. Whether that's in class, doing things on your own, that, like John says, reading. With the practice, you need to always be sharpening your tools. Every athlete knows that. Every musician knows that. Persistence, the most challenging one. As Count Basie once said, don't worry about, he said, Count Basie said, learn to handle the valleys and the peaks will take care of themselves. A lot of truth to that. It's the valleys that crush people when the phone's not ringing. So you have to develop a lifestyle where you can create validation and you're not waiting for other people to validate you, so that you can be persistent in your approach. And then the 4th pillar is process. Everything we do is process. This is part of my process right now, is sharing with this panel and talking to Michelle and saying yes to Michelle when she asks of me. Part of my process is I say yes to things and I bring people into my life. Practical applications that the actor can do right now. Everything John said is spot on. I would say what most actors miss, and maybe artists in general, but most actors that are trying to have a career, quote unquote, is they're not specific enough about what they want to do. You have to get specific. You have to know exactly what kind of storytelling you want to do. Actors that end up doing sketch comedy usually know that that's what they want to do. They'll find an improv group and they will lean into that because that is what is calling them, is whether it's what they see on Saturday Night Live or whether that's what they saw on the I'm forgetting all the sketch comedy groups now because there's been so many of them over the years, but you know that that's what you want to do. If you know that you're meant for the stage, then that's what you should be doing. You should be going to theater companies and looking to do stage work. If what you want to be is a movie star, well, God bless you, but that's a specific goal that you have. So what is it going to take to work in film? Do you know who the independent filmmakers are? Do you know who specializes in casting independent films? Because you're probably going to need to start in independent films before you get to the $200 million budget films. There is a way to advance up that ladder, but you need to know that's specifically what you want. So get specific. And along those lines, this would be number 2, Michelle. I advise and I beg of my actors that want to really become immersed in this industry to stop watching movies and start studying film. Big difference between watching a movie and studying a film. When you study film, you can tell the difference between excellent lighting, excellent art department, whether the costumes look like they belong on that character, whether they look like they just got pulled off of a rack at TJ Maxx or Banana Republic. You can tell. You start to identify what a true aesthetic is, and once you identify what your aesthetic is, that's going to help you get specific. So stop watching movies and start studying film, and that applies obviously to Netflix and everything else. I'm talking about the ubiquitous, the way we absorb content. And the third practical application is, like John said, create a network. Napoleon Hill, one of the great thinkers, had what's called the mastermind principle. And the mastermind principle was assembling approximately 12 people, give or take, probably no more than a dozen. Realistically, probably less than a dozen like-minded people gathering on a regular schedule And when you have like-minded people gathering regularly, everyone benefits exponentially. You start to benefit from everyone's ideas, everyone's momentum and enthusiasm, and the rising tide lifts all of the boats. Surrounding yourself with a network, like John said, but in the arts, it needs to be a like-minded network, and that's easier said than done. You need to start to have a filtering process of kind of avoiding the people that all they do is complain about the business and why the business is stacked against them and things aren't going to work out and it's a numbers game or it's just a look or all the things you hear that arbitrarily convince people that they can't make it in this business. And there's a lot of people walking around in Hollywood that are bitter and feel like they're being passed over or the deck was stacked against them. I advise that you avoid those people and you surround yourself with people like John Chaikin, who is doing something always positive and reading and probably looking to collaborate with someone who loves the same material as he does. You need to always be looking to grab people into your circle that see things the way you do philosophically about the business, and you can all rise together. So that's a lot of information, but this is all within your grasp. It really is a mindset of what are you doing? Are you striving for the life of the artist, or are you looking for results? In anything, if you get result oriented, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Once you realize that it's in the day-to-day process of being an artist and a craftsman, and that leap of faith that John talked about is not going to go away. It is a constant leap of faith that you belong in this business and that there's your own pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, however you define that.
Yeah. I mean, I always, every time I finish a job, I'm always like, what's next? Am I gonna work again? I know I'm gonna work again. I just don't know when I'm gonna work again. Okay, let me go live life, you know. So yeah, you gotta protect your spirit, you know. Because of social media, everybody's in a right now instant gratification, and the unsexy answer is that it takes time and there's no linear path to success. Some people, I know friends who came to LA and they hit within a year or two. I know people who've been out here for 10 years and they still trying to get on. So you just don't know. You don't know what your path, but cream always rises to the top. So if
Yeah.
you're working on your craft and you're getting better, they will find you.
Well,
Find
can I just start real quick, Michelle? 'Cause
Yes, absolutely.
it's a mistake actors make all the time when their main goal is getting that agent, getting a meeting with that agent, or getting a chance to audition for something. And I will have to be blunt with that actor and say that's the last thing you need right now, because you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. If you got that meeting with that agent that's above your pay grade, and if you got that opportunity to read for that show that is one of the best shows on television right now, and you want to get a chance to read for a guest star, you're not ready to. It's not going to go well. You don't know how to take that meeting with that agent. You have nothing. You don't know what that agent is looking for. All they're looking for is, are you a potential dollar sign? And you have nothing to offer them in terms of what your vision is for your career, nor do you have any credits. And if you're going to step into a guest star audition right now, you're not ready. So do the work and don't put the cart in front of the horse, because you have to do the work. And then when those opportunities arise, let's hope that you're ready. But the last thing you want is for that opportunity to arise and you're nowhere near ready to seize the moment.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that too, because I think, and I'm gonna pause for a second. It looks like our third panelist just jumped in. Leslie Green, is that you? Okay, she's nodding. Okay, got it. All right, I just want to make sure we introduced you earlier because we knew you'd make it. So everyone knows who you are, except for some of the people that came in late. So we'll start. I want to go ahead and just let people know and have you dive into the conversation. But just for those who have just come on, Leslie Green is a casting director, author, consultant, fashion designer, and entrepreneur. Her portfolio is extensive, but I'm sure we've heard of networks like Netflix, BET, Lifetime. She's got projects that have been at Sundance, and she is quite impressive. And we're honored to have her here today. We're glad that you made it in, Leslie, and we're good. We still have about an hour to go. So we have plenty of time to kind of to bring you into the conversation. But what we're talking about right now, I just asked John Lacey and John Chafin. I call them Chafin and Lacey because we cool like that. Um, but but I was asking them for 3 specific things that if you want to be a true student of the game and best in class as an actor, that you have to do. So they were diving in on that. I can pitch that to you as a casting director. I'm sure we would love to hear what your answer is with that question.
So I would definitely agree. Taking classes, studying the business, right? It's a business. So studying the business, taking classes, studying the business, and build a community. Because if you think about it, you're really siloed and you need a support system. You need people who will motivate you, people who challenge you, and then people who you can be transparent and honest with. And so within your tribe, that's where you will find that. And in that, even if you're going for the same things, there is really no competition, but there is always encouragement. And sometimes it's healthy camaraderie. And we all need that. So those would be my 3 things.
So I'm going to just pitch this, and if you guys want to come off mute, you can and answer this question. But is anyone seeing a common theme here between these 3 people?
Yeah.
You can just open say yes. Yeah, okay, yeah. Because I know, sometimes you ask the question, you already know the answer to it. That's obviously a yes, right? Everyone's saying the same thing. You have the best in-class people here, and they're telling us the exact same thing. And as an actor myself, I'm looking at this and thinking about the roller coaster that, where your days were like, yeah, this is all I want to do. I'm all in. And then you lose focus and life takes over and you end up not being a student of the game anymore. So a lot of the stuff is hitting home with me as well. But the biggest thing is that, like, when you get the best people telling you the same thing over and over and over, at some point, it's not rocket science. It's really not rocket science, and it always boils down to the fundamentals. John Lacey, yeah, I follow you on Instagram, and I would ask all of you guys to please follow Chafin, Lacey, and Leslie, because all the things they're telling us now are indicative of what you see on their socials, which isn't always the case. That's what makes social media, right? But one of the things I love that Lacey does is he posts films from, like, one day he might post a film from, a silent film from 1835 or something. I don't know, I'm making this up, right? And he'll say, look at this film, and I love this film because the lighting was coming in from this, and it was a half of the actor's face, and, or he'll post, The Devil Wears Prada and talk about Meryl Streep. But the point is that he's a student of the game, and he's not watching movies, he's studying film. I learned that from you, John. I watch film differently now, not as much as entertainment, but more of like, why did they do that? How did they do that? So the things that they're telling you are literally things they put in practice, and it's not rhetoric. So Leslie, I'm going to start with you because I'm going to circle back with you on, as we're talking about on-screen thing, as a casting director, and I know Lacey, you can speak to this as well. As a casting director, as an actor, like, how do you really know what you're looking for, Leslie? Like, we don't know. How do we know what to give you?
Okay, so here's the thing. You will never know. And don't try to figure it out. That's the thing. One, do not try to figure out, because then it'll change how you perform. It'll change your mindset about your performance, and you will be in pins and needles and you will never give your best, right? So when you get aside, build your backstory, read it, Okay, ask questions, make notes, right? And then as you build your backstory, then also ask yourself, how do I see myself in this character? Is there anything that this character is dealing with, has dealt with in my backstory, or will deal with that I can personally relate to? Now, here's the thing. When somebody believes you, right? When they feel you, is different than when somebody is just watching you. And so when you get aside, you break it down. And here's the thing, the beauty, this is why I love actors. The beauty in what you do, who you are makes you unique. And this is that space where what makes you unique sets you apart. And you want to be set apart because you got 50, 100 people vying for the same role. So what's going to make you stand out? It's how you relate to the role and you use what is unique about you, and you engulf us so that when we watch it and we're looking, we know what the person looks like. We know what we should feel when they deliver. So that changes everything. It's the difference between, somebody saying, oh, I could do this. Oh, I can do this role. I look just like this person. And then they just regurgitate lines. Versus somebody who says, okay, she's going through something. I went through something very similar in high school. I remember how it made me feel. And you embody those feelings and emotions so that when you say those lines, it's really the person saying those lines. It's not you any longer. You have embodied this person. So it changes. So when we see it, we not only see it, but we feel it. And that's what you want people watching the actor to feel. We want them to feel something. We want them to be able to connect with the character.
Mhm.
And so depending on how you go forward and what your mindset says before you audition or before you send in a role, your self-tape, it's going to resonate when we get it. I hope that helps.
No, that's very helpful. I'm sure Lacey or Chafin, you guys might want to chime in, but the
Yes.
famous words, 4 words I hate hearing from my acting coach, and Lacey and Chafin, I'm sure you can relate, but like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I mean, when the coach says, I don't believe you, and you're like, I'm giving you everything. What do you mean
Wow.
you don't believe me? It's like, I mean, Lacey and Chafin, you guys want to chime in on that? Because yeah,
Yeah.
how do you build that relevancy and that
Yeah. John, I'll be quick and then I'll hand it off to you. Sheila, that was fantastic. Or Leslie, I'm sorry, that was fantastic. Nice to meet you, by the way. Yeah, acting you're an energy. We all have an energy, and it's an energy that you bring to your auditions. You didn't write the lines, you didn't write the material. The writer gets the credit for that. You have to bring an energy to it. The great
Yeah.
Sandra Meisner said, "Acting is when we're not talking." So you should do it. Test yourself with your self tapes and watch them back without the sound on, and ask yourself honestly,
Yes.
are you interesting?
Yeah, that's really good.
Watch. But there's also a lot of truth to they can tell in the first 10 or 15 seconds if they're engaged with you. So that means you do have to come in hot. You don't come in neutral ever. You find an emotional life that the character that matches what's happening with the circumstances of the character. And as I like to say in my studio, you load that up. Leslie's calling it a backstory. That's often circumstantial and it has things that inform you, and that's very important also. But to have the energy to come in hot means you have to understand what is the emotional life of the character and come in with that bursting through your eyeballs at the beginning of the scene before you even start speaking, so that we can feel that is the energy of the scene. And now you've got us right at the top. Because oftentimes the moment where you get to shed the tear or have the moment of eureka or surprise might be on page 3, and you've lost them by then. So what can you do on the first half of the page to get their attention? Find a quiet moment. Take a pause where it doesn't say beat on the script. It doesn't say she pauses or he pauses. Find another moment to have a quiet moment of reflection. Think the thoughts of the character, and that will convey that you're immersed in the character with the energy rather than just, as Leslie said, regurgitating lines because it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it and how you feel it. It is, we are in the business of moving people. And if you're missing that opportunity and you're just off book is a
Right.
dime a dozen, and it's not that interesting.
You know, one of the things you said, I have to piggyback off of this because I say this all the time. Before you submit yourself to listen to it without watching it, because then you hear the pauses, you hear the beats you take, you hear, is it fluid? Do I feel? Am I feeling the compassion? Am I feeling the anger? You can, when I did Good Times, the animation, I had to listen to hundreds of voices. I couldn't see them. So I had to train myself to hear inflection. I had to hear emotion, right? So it has to be believable. And then just like John said, and then watch it without any volume. What do you feel by looking? Do you feel compassion? Are you able to laugh? Do you see something in your eyes? That is so, 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 so important.
Oh man. I don't know if there's anything for me to add to that.
I'm
Taking
sorry, I'm
notes.
kind of passionate.
I'm a student always. I'm a student first before a practitioner. So I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna do that next time." My next, uh, my acting coach always say opportunity, not audition. Because when you're auditioning, it's like you're putting yourself out there versus having an opportunity to tell this story. If your character is fighting for something, this is your opportunity to go get it.
Yeah.
Um, this is your opportunity to go save your daughter. This is the opportunity to go tell the person that you love them. This is the opportunity versus I'm auditioning.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes is mindset is a big thing. I'm not going to sit here and lie like I got it all because I don't even think I'm a great auditioner. So I'm always looking for more consistency and fluidity from tape to tape, opportunity to opportunity. So I'm always learning. I'm always in a state of taking in and receiving, so that way I have more to give. So yeah, I don't think there's much more I can add to what Leslie and
I
John
love.
said.
I'm sure you may have seen the Bryan Cranston video that bops around, and his philosophy. Once he changed his philosophy towards auditioning, it changed everything for him. Actors say that you're auditioning for the job, like John just said. No, the audition is the job. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what you do. That's your opportunity is the audition. You get a chance to act in that audition, and embrace that, and don't think about the result of that. Just do that, because and Leslie can speak to this for sure, they oftentimes don't really know what they're looking for. The part is certainly written as a type because that's what they need to do to put the breakdown out. But they don't really know what they're looking for. It's an inexact science, and you might be right for something else, and you might be right for something. Leslie or myself as a filmmaker, if you have the energy, if you bring the noise, if you bring something with passion, and it just didn't work out for that role, I'll remember you for something else.
Perfect.
And that's so important. Your audition, really what you're doing is you're having we're all on an awareness campaign.
Mhm.
And right now Leslie and I are talking for the first time, so now Leslie is aware of me and I'm aware of
Mhm.
Leslie, so my campaign is always growing and booming. Same with meeting John. I may cast John in something a year from now that he can't see right now. There's no way he could envision that, but I may ring up John Chafin a year from now and say, hey, we worked with Michelle Willis last year, and I'd really love to offer you something for this picture that I'm making, because it's all about awareness of artists and vibing with each other. And to think that you're auditioning for what's right in front of you is myopic. You're auditioning for a lifetime of relationships in this industry. And that's a beautiful thing when you think about it, because it's that leap of faith we keep going back to, that you keep putting the good work out there. And yes, like John said, cream does rise to the top. What does that mean? It means something different for everybody. Does that mean series regular? Does that mean winning an Oscar? God bless you if it means both of those. But what I think more realistically it means is the fulfilling life of an artist, being an artist, being in the game, being involved with people who are telling stories and creating. And you're not always going to get the roles you think you deserve. For certain, you're not going to. So be ready for that. You're not going to get most of them. I get John said if he gets two jobs out of 30, man, I'm thinking that's a pretty good batting average, man. I can't remember the last time my ratio was that good. I can't remember the last time I booked a commercial, man. I used to do 6 to 10 commercials a year, and now I can't get any commercials. But do I look around and say, "Oh, woe is me, the industry's changed. What the hell's going on?" Or do I go, "Hey, man, I was fortunate when I did book them. I'm not booking them now. So what am I doing now?" Well, here's what I'm doing now, and that's the ebb and flow of my career. But I don't begrudge anyone else for suddenly having their halcyon days right in front of them and mine. Whatever, man. We all just got to keep vibing and meeting new people. So
I want to
yeah.
blow your mind. Okay. I used to teach middle school and high school, right? I am a visual learner, so I am a visual teacher. Everybody on here has seen the old Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, correct? You have to have your what I call your Aunt Viv moment. And what that is she was dancing up against younger groups of kids. 2 other girls were dancing beside her, right? And she went hard. She went so hard that when she walked out the door, she passed out. What I mean by having your Aunt Viv moment in every audition, if you give it 110%, the emotion is there, you knew it, you felt it, you regurgitated it, we felt it, I guarantee you, you're either going to book or you're going to book something else. Because what's going to happen is, as a casting director, that gives me the wherewithal to fight for you and be like, y'all got to see this tape. You definitely got to see this. Because when you leave it, that's why I love actors. This is something I've taken acting classes and I'd be like, I don't want to talk to my 3-year-old self. No. I don't want to remember. No. I lived through it. So I respect the fact that you guys can take things that you've gone through, things that other people have gone through, and use it in a way that connects to all of us when we watch you work, right? So when I say your Aunt Viv moment, that's what she did. She looked like she wasn't even breathing, but she was in step. She was toe to toe on the next level each time she moved a foot, each time she moved her arm. But then when she was done, she held her head up and walked off and passed out. We don't see what you do after. We see what you do when you're in front of the camera. Have those moments and it's that naked and unashamed thing, right? Do it, because what happens is, if I know that you don't fit that role, and I know that my director needs you a certain height because the person you're playing against is a certain height, I'm saying, all right, he really killed it. Now, I can battle for you a couple of different ways. I may say, all right, so are we locked on this? Can we maneuver? If they say no, then I'm like, okay, well, he killed it here. Can we move him here? He went out for this part, but because of the energy, I believe he can deliver here. And that's within a project. Now, because I know my slate of projects and I know what's coming down the pike, I might say, oh, okay, he's perfect for this. And I'm writing your name down. Because when you are able to be so naked and unashamed, that's what I love about acting. That's what I love about what you do. And that's what I respect about what you guys do. So when you do that, I have the ability to go up against, nah, he ain't what we looking for though. And I can say, but did you see how he did this? Did you see what she did? Did you look in her eyes? Did you see the intensity? Let me show you this spot where she did excellent. So I can go to bat, and I do it all the time. I will go to bat for somebody because you gave it 120%. Everybody doesn't do that. So just remember that. And if it's something you're really passionate about, And because I need great actors. Sometimes we just want to be able to, I want to be able to create a list, give it to my team and say, all right, these are the people I want you to look at. Here's their reels, here's their this, boom. And it's been plenty of people I've just been like able to sell them and they don't even have to audition because of when they go out and they have left it all on the floor.
Yeah, if actors would just remind themselves that when casting, people are watching them. God, it was. I just miss being in the room. John, don't you miss being in the room?
I'm getting ready to do an open. We're doing a in-person casting in Philadelphia, and I'm so excited.
It's when you can tell the real actors, right, Leslie? Because the actors that are stage trained love being in the room.
Yeah,
it's like opening night and closing night of a one-act play in 10 minutes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I don't sit in the traffic. That part.
No, of course, and the fact that you can go on vacation and still book a job. Right. I mean, the last guest star that I booked. I shot it. Say it again.
No, I was saying I missed the feedback when you're in person because you could, like you said, you're not auditioning to book the job. You're trying to essentially book the room. Like you want to get a new buyer. It's like in any business, you want to continue to get new customers.
Yeah.
So, and for actors, our buyers are the casting and producing. So when you get an opportunity to read, you get an opportunity to get new buyers and new new investors in your business. So that's how you look at it. And like my acting coach always say, she wish actors would stop trying to be interesting and get interested in the story. The more interested you are in the story, the more interesting you will be to watch. Yeah. So moving your actor self, your actor brain, and putting it into the story with the character wants, with you as the character wants and needs, then it will translate. But yeah, I do miss the in person, but there's also benefits to being on tape,
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Without a doubt. The reason I brought up was what I was going to say, piggyback on what Leslie said, is they want so badly for you to be good. They want you to do well. It's not about judging you. It's not about sitting with a checklist and wondering if you're going to check all the boxes of what they're looking for. They just want you to come in and act without ego and let it rip and be good and put this idea that you're looking for a job away and just perform for them with joy. And when you perform with joy, it's infectious.
It is.
I'm glad you mentioned. I'm sorry, Leslie. Were you going to say something?
No, I was agreeing. I was definitely agreeing.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, John, because that tees up exactly where we're going next. But can I just say, speaking of coming in hot, Leslie came in hot, didn't she?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Way hot. Okay, come on. Everybody got
I apologize.
No, we love it.
Worth the wait.
I apologize.
It was worth the wait, Leslie. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody come offline, come off mute and say, Leslie, you came in hot. Come on, let's come on.
Hot.
Leslie, you came in hot.
Guys.
I love it. I was taking.
Wasn't that a beautiful mess that just happened?
I loved every minute of it.
Let me just get through some of these comments real quick. So somebody said excellent points, Leslie. As Tom Hanks and others have said, be early, know your material, and have an idea. An audition isn't a chance to get a job. It's a sacred opportunity to create an absolutely real moment. Create that moment. Let the universe take care of the job.
So can I say something too?
Yeah.
For me, like I'm a champion for actors simply because without you, I'm nothing. I know that, right? So the beauty in what you guys do, I want you to, it's a mindset. It's not an arrogance, right? And we taking ego out the way. It is a mindset. When you come in the room, I want you to believe before you even get there. If you got to hype yourself up before you do a dance, sing a song, whatever, remember this. I need you as much as you need this. I need you to know that I am looking for you. When you come in, when your self-tape is submitted, I am looking for that person. I can be like, yo, I got you some people, you're going to have a hard time because I know I did. I know who my 1, 2, and 3 are, but listen, I'm equally across the board with these people. I love being able to go in and champion for you guys. But it's only when you set yourself, when your mind is right and when you just leave it on it, I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So here's the thing. I got 3, and my producers and director, they be like, all right, Leslie, all right, just can we see it now? But I hype it up. Like by the time they looking, they like, all right, then okay. So I do that. I love doing it because to me, I don't take my position lightly. And I've been studying this thing for a long time. I understand the no's and the not yet's and the you ain't got enough on your resume and your reel was dark, and I understand all of that. So I have a different level of compassion for you guys. So I want you to know that you have a champion in casting. And we are all casting directors are different, absolutely. But my empathy and my love for what you do is a little different, right? Because I want to see y'all win. I want to be able to say, I can look at you and you know what I'm saying. Like, remember when you did that fight thing? Like, I love that. So I want y'all to win. All right, that's it. I'm gonna be quiet.
No, thank you, Leslie. That's awesome. And I mean, again, perfectly. You and Lacey are teeing us up perfectly because, and we have just under 30 minutes left. But one of the things that we're going to do today, which I'm very excited about, we've never done this before. So you guys are making Greater South Fulton Chamber of Commerce Film and Entertainment Committee history right now. Okay, so John Lacey has been gracious enough to send us one of his self-tapes for an audition. And so what we're going to do, and I want us to be thinking about a couple different things as we're watching this. John, if you could, if you remember, when you got the sides for this role, if you can give us really quickly, maybe how you broke down the character and what your process was to be able to deliver this audition. And then we'll watch the audition. And I'd love for Lacey and Leslie to watch and talk us through this a little bit so that we can see exactly what casting directors, what some of that process might look like as you're going through. And
didn't I just say a second ago, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression? And here I am meeting Leslie and I'm listening to her going, wow, this is the kind of casting director I've always loved in this industry. Because Leslie, I know so many after doing this for 3 decades, not as many in your region, but a few, and it's the Leslie Greens people that make this industry so much fun, because when an actor goes in and reads for a casting director that loves actors and is pulling for us and is engaged, and then, like she says, can champion us, I think you're few and far between. I think you're a rare breed. I'd like to think that all casting directors have that same drive that you do. But I know I've only felt it from a few of them in the room where I really felt like they really were just in there with me, and they wanted and they provided readers that gave you something, and it's just so kudos to you, Leslie. So it'd be interesting to break this down. I don't even remember what this was for. It was a TV series, and it was kind of this new genre that's popped up the last few years about these bizarre cults that are in, whether it's some kind of Mormon faction or some kind of devil worshiping group or something. Someone stumbles into a group where suddenly they're caught up in this cult. I don't know if you saw Midsummer or not, but that was a big film for that with I'm forgetting her name. But so the role was of the father of this family who lives out in the woods, and these documentary filmmakers are out making some film, and they get stranded, or they put themselves, they're suddenly damsels in distress, and these brothers come along and find them, and they think that they're their saviors, and they take them back to the cabin, and now, oh my God, they're going to be caught up in this weird family and their rituals and their human sacrifices. This is the kind of stuff that's out there. And for my demographic right now, I'm the poster boy for those guys. I get to either be the bad sheriff or the evil LAPD, or I get to be a cult leader that's about to dismember someone.
Oh.
So
on the call here. She was on this call. This is, I sit on the Film and Entertainment Committee, and this is our forum, our actors forum.
Lyric, can you mute yourself, please?
Yeah. So this
So,
was, yeah, this
I got,
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead,
this,
John.
the character they had me read for was the father of this family that has these two young women suddenly held captive, and one of them's been drugged, and the other one is suddenly kind of realizing that they're in hot water. And I don't know if you saw Heretic, the Hugh Grant film, but it's maybe a little bit along the lines of those. So what did I have to work with? It was the character was written a certain way. I could tell by the way he spoke and the way that the writer infused certain intellectual properties to what he said, that he was somewhat of a sophisticate, even in this otherwise kind of country setting, not country, but this backwoods setting, that he was actually well read and somewhat of an intellectual. So I did with it what I chose to do with it. I didn't care if it was right or wrong. I said, okay, here's my angle on this guy, and here's how I'm going to do it, and I just let it rip. And I think what you're going to see and why I submitted this to Michelle is because I don't play by the rules with self tapes anymore and the way they're supposed to be framed and how they're supposed to be. Of course, you need good lighting. Of course, you need the sound to be good, and you need a reader. Those things are a given. But I always change my camera angles. I will mess with the composition of my self tapes to fit the story that I'm telling. If I want it to be more dynamic, if I'm playing an evil character, oftentimes I'll light it a little differently. I'll maybe shoot it from a lower angle so that I look more menacing. I will walk up to the camera in different ways. I play around with different filmmaking techniques when I do self tapes, just because I need to have it be interesting for myself to do it. And I like to present them something that they might not have seen. So I presented this to Michelle as, look, there's some things in here that most actors wouldn't have thought to do, and I'm okay with that because I like my tapes to be interesting first and foremost.
Awesome. All
Yeah,
right, Sandy,
that was a
can we
lot.
go ahead? Can we go
Yeah.
ahead? No,
Now we'll see if I'm going to live to regret this.
Sandy, can we go ahead and run that video?
Okay, y'all, I'm getting ready to try it. Here we go.
You can do it.
Dun-dun. You are screen sharing. And dun-dun. Can y'all see it?
Yep.
Oh shit! There he is. Look at that guy.
Was just gonna get the cup and the horn.
Not yet. We need music first. Rufus, put us on some mood music. Dash, you fetch the mercy seat. Come on, girls. Get that music in you.
My sister needs a doctor. Please.
Lots of things close your eyes in the winter. Don't open them up. Well, not in this life thing. Move on to the next. Maybe that's what she wants to do.
No. No, she's hurt.
She wants to see you dance. Ain't that right? Come on. Let that music in you. Shine a light. You feel that?
Let me go.
It's better if you don't scream. Nobody but us to hear you.
Why are you doing this to us?
Because you came to us looking for trouble. Sometimes you get more trouble. If you're a lucky girl, maybe you can get the abyss.
Put her on the horns. Fill the cup. Feed the snow.
In your time, boys. First, let's see if she can dance. See if she can move. Can you?
All right.
Oh my God.
So Leslie, let's start with you. First of
Eye
all,
lines.
thank you.
Eye contact. Oh my God. Great eye contact. Great. Oh, I just loved it. I love the inflection, the move, the way you used your voice as a tool. Oh my goodness. I really enjoyed it because it puts you in that space. So you can see yourself. The sister didn't say anything, but if you looked at how he was looking and where the camera angles was, you could have been the sister that was sitting right there beside the brother who was talking. So that was great. I mean, we could talk about this for a little bit more, but I really, really enjoyed it. And that's what, for me, you know, you don't want to tell people to go out and buy a police uniform, or you want people to be able to think outside the box. Use what you have. Definitely, like you said, lighting, audio. But then we're looking at your eyes. Do your eyes tell a story? Do your eyes pull a person in? Like, we could go on, but you clearly you see where I'm going with this.
Thank
Great
you.
job. Absolutely great job.
So
Even looking back at it now, because I haven't obviously watched that in months. If I was watching that with the sound off, John, like we were talking about,
Yep.
I'm pretty scared of that guy. That guy that guy doesn't look like someone I want to be in a cabin with.
yeah,
And I don't need the sound for that.
No.
Yeah, and even to your point, just you know, I think to your point, when you're watching self tapes, a lot of actors don't take the liberties that you took, even like moving into the camera and actually playing with that angle. And I mean, your eyes, I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell, but John has these big, very, very blue eyes. So for blue eyes, like the ocean, to look scary is that means you're doing something, because I'm looking at his eyes and I'm like, whoa, this is a bit much, right? So you told us this earlier, but some people may not have been on. Did you book this gig?
Did not. But I mean, Leslie, look at what they you know, they got to make a whole. Oftentimes when they're casting a family, they either find everyone that works as a family or they don't. And I on the page, was I right for that role? I don't know, but that's not my job to talk myself in or out of the job. I'm just going to take what my reps get me and give them something interesting that fits what I would do with it. But no such luck on that one.
So Leslie, was there anything, and Chafin, even you as an actor kind of watching this, right? Is there anything that you would have said, like, as I'm watching this character, I want to see that maybe you didn't see, or something that you love that you want to see more of, that you think could really build this character out if you were going to cast him? You're on mute, Leslie. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, I can't unmute her. Uh-oh.
Spaghetti-O. I guess I could talk until she.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, listen, if she's acting, she's doing a great job using her body. You're getting all kinds of
I'm always hesitant to comment on another actor's work because I'm an actor myself and it's a very sacred thing, and I'm not a teacher or a casting professional. But one thing I would say is that I was very enamored. Did you have the sides? Did you?
The other thing, when I gave this to Michelle, I said, I'm breaking a lot of rules here. I'm tired of actors feeling like they can't hold the sides anymore.
That was like, I need to get better at that because I mean, I already have a photographic memory, so learning um lines is always like the easiest thing for me. But it's also something that I have to be careful not to lean on because I could learn like pages of dialogue really fast, but that doesn't mean that I have it all
Yeah.
written down.
Do you do you ever use cue cards?
No, I
Yeah.
don't. I always go off book. It's
Yeah.
hard for me to go down and come back. It's a skill set that I have to continue to practice and work on. When I was going in the room, then that was used more often because sometimes you get an audition the day before and it's like, okay, I got three today. I don't have time to like really, learn
Yeah.
all of these. So I have to get like the point. So I was going on and off script a lot more co-reading when I was going in person. But since I've been doing more tapes, it's
Mhm.
been like, well, just learn it.
Yeah.
And then,
I,
but
I
that's just me. My process is different. I wouldn't tell everybody to do that, but I
no,
would.
I get off book very quickly too. Sometimes things grab me right away, and the fact that I'd like to get Leslie's take on that because again, what I wanted to give Michelle was something where I'm not doing things the way they're supposed to be done. There's a lot of not I'm going to say risks being taken, but there are a lot of rules being broken, and holding the sides is one of them. Now that I'm just saying, you know what, man, if I feel like it's going to help me right now to slide into this and not worry so much about the specifics of the text, but it's this atmosphere I want to create. And if right now, with the time constraint I've got, if I'm going to holding the sides is not going to be an impediment to me. Leslie, did that bother you that I was holding the sides?
So here's the thing for me. Like I said, every casting director is different. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
I think. Okay. So every casting director is definitely different. I hate seeing people hold the documents because what it says to me, initially I say, okay, you didn't spend time with the material. But for me, I understand that not everybody processes the same way. So it's a strike for me initially. Now what I'm looking for is your delivery.
Mm-hmm.
Can I feel you? If I can feel you. So with your eyes, I could feel. I didn't even have to hear what you were saying. Your body language, it was a seductive way that you was gyrating and moving your body to let them know, listen, I have plans for you, right? So it's a lot of things that were unsaid that were felt and said without me getting sidetracked from that piece of paper. That always sidetrack. That always is oh my God. Okay. So somebody didn't do their homework. Okay, well, we're gonna let you. But that's just so that is for me as a casting director. But what I know about myself is because I used to teach, I know everybody learns differently and everybody processes differently. So I can't hold it, even though I'm not a fan of it, I don't hold it against people if they are able to make me feel that they are believable in the role.
Mm-hmm. Good answer. When you had actors, sorry, Michelle, when you had actors in the room, and we were expected to hold the sides, was it a different philosophy then?
So for me, I always say, I welcome them in and, I try to make people feel at ease because I know you see people sitting behind a desk and you see, oh my God, this casting director, they have the opportunity, they going, blah, blah, blah. I know the anxiety is there.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Leslie? She's frozen. Yeah.
For me,
Okay, we'll come back.
It's always been
John, I'm just gonna real quick, sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but we have 11 minutes exactly. And I want to make sure we get to some a couple questions if anyone has any, but please finish your thought and then I'll run to that.
This just seems it's always been a conflict, almost a conflict of interest or a conflict of philosophies. If once upon a time in the room.
Wow.
Oh, goodness, we're losing everybody.
Jeez, what is going on? We're losing all the great.
Now.
Nathan, you're the last man saying it. Well, I
can quick. I was gonna say, as long as you're doing the work, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I understand where Leslie's coming from. I understand where John's coming from. It's tough if you have 4 auditions that are due around the same time. You gotta do what you gotta do. As long as you're doing the work, I think that's what matters.
Right.
I love that he was able to use the script and keep his engagement. So that's one of the things I would say. I just say that I get off book because it's better for me. But to each his own.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way too because I feel like I'm hindered when I'm holding the sides and trying to, I don't know. I've never auditioned with sides before, so maybe
I used to a lot when we was going in the room.
Yeah. Sure.
If I got to be Monica or North Hollywood within an hour of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to, first of all, this panel is great. The comments are awesome. And I'm going to circle back through to the comments. But what I do want to do is see if we have any questions in the chat, and then I'm going to open it up. So Barbara.
Guys, I'm back.
Oh, hey, John.
Sorry about that.
I'm sorry, I'm back.
Oh, God, of course, both of you. This is a drama thing, right? You make a grand re-entrance.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can see right through this. We know what you actors do.
Guilty as charged.
Barbara Mostella Oliver says, how often does an actor or actress recommend other actor or actresses if you feel you're not a good fit for the role? Anybody want to take that real quick? And let's try to keep these answers a little more curt just so we can get, yeah.
Actor refer another actor.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
I've
I guess
done
you
that
would
a
have
lot. I'll hit friends up and be like, yo, hey, you need to read for this, man. This is you. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like, as you know, for me, to each his own, and you're gonna get what you're supposed to have. I don't want anybody else's blessings. I only want what God has for me. And I can't stop another actor from getting a job by trying to hijack information. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's something that happens more often than not. We feel like if we share this information, then we're not going to get it. But if you were going to get it, you would get it,
Yep.
regardless. So I'm
Okay.
always, you know, hitting friends up and like, yo, did you read for this project? You know, there's a role in there I just read, and I think you would be, you know, great for it. You know.
Yeah, I think I'm similar. I do that. I'll always pay it forward for it for my whether it's my competition or not. Friends are, I know so many actors, and I'm referring them all the time for things.
Yeah, it's a huge compliment too to have a director call you and say, "Hey, this person recommended you for the role," and you don't even
Sure.
audition, and it's a direct booking, and you're like, and if you didn't know that person, you'd never have it. So,
So it's back to this idea of relationships.
yep, yep, and
No,
networking with the right people,
Not
and
only that, but would you
and
want somebody to do that for you? You know what I'm
yep,
saying? Like, would you want
yep,
somebody to tip you to an opportunity? You know, so
absolutely,
be,
absolutely,
be be how you would want other people to treat you. You know.
absolutely.
amen.
Alicia, I'm sorry, were you gonna say something else, Lacey?
No, I just said amen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll take all the amens.
Amen.
Alicia Rivera asks, do you see height as a size or height as a hindrance? For example, 6'2", 330 pounds, example, in relation to casting.
Muted again.
All right, I think I'm done speaking. Okay, hello?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm creating a world, right? And people. The world looks like everybody. So I'm always I'm looking for a diverse, can I use that word? I'm looking for a diverse group of people to be a part of this world. Now, sometimes height does come into play. If you got somebody, I have a lead who is 5'5", right? Of course, height is going to play to who's her co-lead, or it comes into play, absolutely. But when you're building a world, when I'm building a world, I want it to look as realistic as possible. And you have people of every shape, size, color, dialect, and I love that. And I think the beauty of people who are in LA that hire me because they don't know this acting landscape, I think when they look at my resume and they look at the talent that I've pulled in, they see a diverse group. I'm always, and I just started speaking to people in different organizations just to find people who will be able to build out a diverse world. So it just depends on where you are putting that person. But if we're building a world, you have people who are shorter, people who are taller. You got to be strategic with it, but yeah, for sure.
Excellent. Okay, I think that's all the questions in the chat. I probably have room for maybe one question. Is there anyone online that actually wants to come off and ask oh, I see Trish. Trish had her hand up before I could even finish the question. All right, Trish, you're on.
So, like, the question I have is like for readers. Like, sometimes I'm not always able to get people in my tribe, like with other actors. So, does it really matter? I know I can feed off the better if the person's in the room with me, but sometimes I have to rely on virtual readers. So, what are your opinions on that?
I can speak. All my readers are virtual. Just because I have a son, you know what I'm saying? I got a wife. Sometimes I don't have time to drive over town to go set up at somebody else's house. I have a setup here at my place that works for me. I have my laptop, I have my camera, I have a Rode mic, and I set it up and it works perfectly. And not only that, I've had Zoom auditions. Um, so I don't think it matters if your reader is virtual versus in the room audio wise. I think it's more of a preference for you as an actor. Do you connect better in person or via screen? For me, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling the story, whether they're right in front of me in person or right in front of me on my computer screen. I think it's a case by case, person by person type of thing. Now, Leslie could probably speak to it, how it is on her end, you know, how she prefers it. I feel like as long as they can hear and see you and they can hear the reader, you're good.
I would agree with everything you said 100% for sure.
Awesome. All right. So any other questions? Okay, let me just get through a couple of these comments. I want to make sure Leslie and Chafin and Lacey get your get their flowers. We got thank you, great panel, excellent advice. This panel is totally awesome. Just what I needed today. I'm taking much needed notes to help me out. John, and Leslie, not John, comma, John. And Leslie, these nuggets each of you are providing is gold and platinum. Thank you. Leslie, you came in sizzling hot. I love all these points made by the panelists. Leslie came in hot. See what I'm saying?
Thank you. Thank you.
There's a palpable difference on screen between actors who play to the camera, in quotes, and actors who, quote unquote, play to God. And Christopher Walken is famous for giving directors many different interpretations of a scene. Excellent points, Leslie. Thank you. Wow. So, all right. Oh, wait, hold on. More. Let me see comments. The panel was very informative. When is the next panel? That's what I'm talking about. You hear that, Diane? This was great. Thank you. Great information from the panelists. Okay, so Loretta, I see your question. I'm gonna have to, the question is, what can anyone recommend regarding obtaining an agent? I'm gonna have to table that only because we have 1 minute left and I've still got it. We got to close this thing out because we want to make sure we are respectful of everyone's time. But someone said this has been really great. As someone of the craft of acting who just recently moved to Atlanta from Baltimore, I welcome all of this insight. Can we just come off of mute and give our panelists an amazing round of applause?
Woo!
Yeah.
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 Excellent.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for allowing me to host you and to moderate this discussion. Loretta, if you want to hang on, maybe our panelists will answer your question after we jump off. I'm going to pass it to Sheila right now to close us out. But thank you again, guys, so much.
Yes, I just want to say it was outstanding. Thank you guys for giving us your time and your information. Leslie, I know you were in an emergency and you came in and you slam dunked it. So, and John, thank you so much for all the information you've given us and the insight. And as well, I want to thank my committee. We did it, guys. And we will be doing it again in June and again in September. So please stay in touch with us so you can know what we're doing and how we're making it happen. And thanks to Diane Matthews for supporting the Film and Entertainment Committee. And I'm ecstatic about this. This was so great and so much information for the community.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Sheila.